The longest-running off-road and action motorsports radio show on the planet is coming to you live with the biggest guest in motorsports. Here is the only man on the planet who can pack this much dirt slinging and tire slaying into 2 hours a week. Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to get your ears blown. Here is Jim Beaver and the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Welcome to this week's Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here with another edition of the Anything Goes Action Motorsports Radio Show. And I got to tell you today, a little bit interesting. We're going to shift it up. Obviously, we've got Tiffany Stone. She's actually en route to trail to SEMA. We got her on the show. It's going to have a little bit of off-road flavor today. We got Chris Leone. We're going to be doing a massive dose of power rankings in hour number 2. But here in hour number 1, I'm going to actually touch base on some current news, some of the events happening in the world of motorsports, chime in on some big press releases and things like that are going on. And then I am going to have my General Tire teammate and my good friend CJ Hutchins on the show, who just locked up a Best in the Desert Class 1500, also known as Class 1 for you score fans. One of the baddest dudes behind the wheel of a buggy. He is going to be on the show today. So looking forward to having CJ Hutchins on the show. So anybody that wants to chime in, if you got any questions for our guests, you want to chime in on power rankings or just any of the news, current events in motorsports, make sure, hit me up at JimBeaver15 on social media. Twitter actually probably works a little bit more better. Is that actually a thing, right? Did I just use more better on the show? Wow. This is going to be a long show today if I'm starting off my opening segment using the term mo better. Anyways, hit me up on Twitter at JimBeaver15. Also, just have to give a big thank you to all of you guys. Both my shows, Project Action and this one, man, we have been killing it on the iTunes charts. So those of you that are listening on iTunes, I know we got a lot of national syndication listeners, our friends of the AFN, all our troops overseas. But if you are, listening in the archives on iTunes, man, we've been killing it on the charts. Continue to hit that subscribe button and leave those ratings, man. It much appreciated. It definitely helps us out and helps us get the exposure and let people know what we're doing right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. So thank you guys who have continued to help us grow there on iTunes. Anyways, we're going to take a short break, and I'll chime in with some news when we return here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
Ford WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, Ford WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself, or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to Ford WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at FordWP.com.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or @VisionWheel on social media to learn more. Super ATV is the industry leader in aftermarket UTV and ATV parts and accessories. Super ATV products are designed, engineered, tested, and manufactured right here by Super ATV. Whether you're looking to upgrade your suspension, get stronger axles, or you're looking for a new winch to get you out of a tough spot, Super ATV has what you're looking for. And since we know you're in a hurry, we offer fast, free shipping to the lower 48 states on all orders. Visit superatv.com now and get your UTV or ATV dialed in.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Oh man, that was a hell of a ride. Go check out mymedic.com for the best first aid kits on the planet and save 15% with discount code Jim Beaver. Again, mymedic.com, discount code Jim Beaver, and save 15%. It's cheaper than a funeral.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. And, it's time to get rolling here. And, we've got lots of stuff to talk about. I know I'm actually in transit as soon as the show gets done, wrapped up. I'm heading out to Chandler. We got the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series, the finale going on. They got the Cup race, everything else. I'll be calling it for the live stream in the house. So if you're in the Phoenix area and you make your way out there, boom, you'll be hearing my voice. If you guys want to tune in at home, go over to Lucas Oil Racing TV, and you'll be able to watch that live stream via the app, the website, however you consume your Lucas Oil Racing TV. So, yeah, I'll be hosting live stream as well. So should be some good racing. I know Keegan Kincaid, he's coming out from the Midwest, trying to sneak in and steal away some of that big purse in the Cup race. So it should be interesting to see what Keegan can come up with. I know a couple other Midwesters. I know sounds like Andrew Carlson making the trip out as well. So should have some fun, some interesting storylines there with Lucas there at Chandler. Looking forward to how that wraps up. And, I guess Camp Razor going on this weekend as well. I'm going to first time in almost since the start, I think that I'm actually going to miss Camp Razor, which it's one of my favorite events of the year. It's when me and all the rest of the Team Razor people get together and we get a chance to go out and have some fun in our Razors out in the dunes. I generally take the mic out there and do some recording and things like that, and just not able to do it this year because of the conflict with Lucas. I know RJ Anderson, Ronnie Anderson, they're both going to be at the Lucas race as well. I know Rob Mack, he was out of Glamis last year. He's not going to be this year. He's got to be there at he's got to be there in Chandler as well. So I don't know. It's kind of a split crew for us Razor people, so it's going to be interesting to see who's able to show up at both events. But if you're heading out to the dunes, man, I can't wait to see all the pictures. That is just, it is epic. It is a good time out there, and does not disappoint out there at Camp Razor at Glamis, that's for sure. Like I said, one of my favorite events of the year. So that wraps up, and then, man, it is like all hands on deck for SEMA week. Next week, not SEMA week, but gives us kind of a little prep for it. But I know Off-Road Hall of Fame, that's going on. Man, we got so much stuff happening in the next couple of weeks. Off-Road Hall of Fame, that's going on there in Phoenix to kick off SEMA week. It's Sunday this year instead of Monday. Robbie Gordon, David Higgins getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. Frank Butch Arciero as well. We got all the Impact Awards. One of my favorite events of the year. I know a lot of my favorite events of the year kind of all being packed into 1 week. But so that's going on. I know I just got a text from Jenna Hellstrom with the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame. I believe there's 30 tickets left. And keep in mind, there's like 600-700 people that show up to this event, and they only have 30 tickets left. So if you haven't got your tickets yet and you're planning on being at Vegas or you want to go, like seriously, get them now because they will not be around. I think the website's ormhoff.org. You can get your tickets there, but you definitely want to get them now because if you wait, you are going to be standing at the door and not allowed into one of the best off-road, celebrations of all things off-road every year. And man, David Higgins going in. Rally guy, only the second one ever. Yes, that's right. John Buffum, the first one one ever. David Higgins, the second one ever, going into the Hall of Fame. That is a statement right there. It tells you how badass David Higgins is, and I am looking forward to being there. I'm actually, Cameron Steele and I are hosting the event. So Cam and I, we're going to be out there, hosting the event and carrying on the conversation, the show. And it's anytime you get Cam and I on stage, it's always a fun time because we know each other so well. We can kind of make digs and have fun and kind of cut at each other, and it's all in fun. Gets the audience laughing and things like that. And Cam and I, we know what to expect. So it's should be a good time. And then talking about SEMA week, I know I've got a bunch of appearances. We'll get a schedule posted on social media for those of you who want to come out, hang out, meet me, whatever. But I think we're doing something with RacingJunk.com, doing a live show there. I think our guest list so far, we get Sarah Price, quite a few other industry personalities. We're doing that on Tuesday. Wednesday, doing a show with Rigid Industries. We've got R.J. Anderson going to be one of our guests. I think I've got my good friend Samantha Rady with Car Throttle going to be a guest. We've also got Pleasant Cook, a.k.a. 4x4 Barbie. Yeah, she's going to be on the show as well. So in addition, we got Brett Carpenter with Rigid and a bunch of other personalities going to be popping in between the two shows. I'll actually be at the Gibson booth doing a live Instagram takeover on Wednesday as well and making an appearance there. And then I got quite a few other appearances. I got some parties to go to. That's one of those. I think a lot of listeners to the show probably heading out to SEMA. If you are heading out to SEMA, man, definitely hit me up on social media. I'd love to meet you guys. I know every year I actually got to the point where we probably ought to do like a down and dirty meetup or party or something someday at SEMA. Because every year I get people ping me, hey, I want to meet you, and things like that. And I feel like maybe it's got to that point where we actually do a meetup. I've never done one of those. Maybe SEMA's the spot to do it every year. Do a meetup of all fans of the show. But I guess one of the Matt DeAndrea, he's been a guest on this show or Project Action, maybe both. But he hosts CarCast with Adam Carolla and Bill Goldberg. He's got this rad OG Ford Lightning truck. I'm not talking about the supercharged one like 2003ish. I'm talking OG Ford Lightning truck. It's one of the old square body styles, right? Based on the 351 engine, 92 to 96. I don't know the years they actually made that, but that's the era of the truck. But he's got one that they're kind of modernizing a bit. I don't want to say modernizing, but cleaning it up, and it's a build for SEMA. It's going to be on display out there, and he and I have been messaging on Instagram. I am really freaking looking forward to seeing this thing. Like, it's going to be insane. I love that era of Ford truck. But the Lightning, I mean, it just makes it so much special. And, like, that was the very first Lightning truck, ushered in an era of these performance trucks by Ford. I got to tell you, this truck, like, if you follow him on social media, one, I don't know how the hell he's going to get this thing put together in time for SEMA. I know it just got back from the paint shop and stuff like that. But two, like, this thing, it's going to be off the chain. Like, if you're a vintage Ford truck fan or vintage truck fan, like, this truck, you want to see this thing. And I can't wait to see DeAndrea's truck out there. So giving him a little shout out. You should check out their podcast, CarCast, as well. It's one of the best automotive podcasts, out there. But it is definitely going to be a showstopper, I think. That's tentatively kind of going to be one of my picks of the show. So we'll see how that plays out. But that's I'm kind of feeling that right now. I'm kind of feeling that truck. So we'll see, just based on the teasers and things like that. But you never know what's going to come out at SEMA, right? We can talk about that, and then all of a sudden you get to SEMA and something blows our mind, something out of the woodwork that nobody ever thought was coming, and it'll be there. Yeah, there's going to be countless Raptors, Rangers, Jeeps, you name it. I do like seeing the exotics, though. I got to go to Beverly Hills and, like, downtown L.A., Hollywood to actually, Beverly Hills. Nobody has an exotic in Hollywood anymore. But, yeah, Beverly Hills to see exotics. I kind of like doing it when I go to my Podcast One meetings and, there's cars sitting around and things like that. But I love SEMA because you actually get to see those in the flesh. Like, it's not – they're all over the place, and, like, Lambos and Ferraris and, and Koenigseggs and things like that. Like, this is – I'm a small-town Arizona kid. This is not stuff you see on a daily basis, but you go to SEMA and, boom, it's right there. So always kind of fun to see that and, and see what's what's out there and just have it all there. I don't even know. SEMA's so gluttonous now. I guess gluttony is probably the proper term to describe SEMA, because it's like everything is there and it's there in abundance. And if you're a car person, it's just absolutely gluttony for car people, right? Off-road, performance, racing, exotics, like hot rods, like it's all there, and you just get to take it all in. So it's definitely. I am looking forward to it. I'm sure we'll talk more about SEMA next week on the show, and then obviously I'll be doing 2 shows from SEMA. We'll get that scheduled to you guys next week before we get out to SEMA. But yeah, lots of fun stuff to come. I do want to mention, man, my iRacing team has been doing phenomenal. Jim Beaver Esports. We got some social media accounts. Go and follow those. But if you want to join iRacing, I know at our website, downanddirtyshow.com, probably if you're listening to this show, it's right there in the footnotes. But we got some coupon codes to get you some discounts to go iRacing. But iRacing, one of the big partners in the show, and definitely want you guys to get locked in. If you want to go sim racing, man, I got to tell you, these guys on Jim Beaver Esports, they're competing for a lot of money. NASCAR Peak Series just wrapped up. Now they got the NASCAR Winter Series going on. But yeah, it is definitely rad. If you're a car person, if you're a racing person, not a lot of us can afford cars, but iRacing, boom, you can get behind the wheel in sim racing and do exactly like the pros do, race the same tracks under the same conditions. It's actually pretty remarkable what iRacing's been able to build. And they've got off-road trucks, rally cars, Porsches, NASCARs, Indy cars, you name it. You can get behind the wheel of one, and hey, if you crash and hit the wall, it doesn't cost you anything, right? That's the benefit of it. But, it's full-on sim racing. It's a whole lot of fun. iRacing.com, check them out. If you want that coupon code, like I said before, go and check us out on our website. We've got the links right up there. So we're going to take a short break. We come back. I don't know what we're going to have when we come back from the break, but we are going to have a lot coming at you right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Yes, so now it's time for us to start talking about some of the big news and exciting stuff happening in the world of action motorsports. And, a couple big things come to mind. Number one, just got announced today, probably the worst kept secret in all of off-road racing, probably all of motorsports in general. But it is good news nonetheless. My good friend and longtime guest here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, Alexander Rossi, is going back to the Baja 1000. Yes, he is teaming with Jeff Proctor, Pat Daly, the boys there at the Honda Racing Team, the factory-backed Honda Racing Team, and he's going to be running that Ridgeline at the Baja 1000 yet again this year. I know last year it was a big surprise when he came in and did that. Obviously he's got his personal services deal with Honda. They put that together, and I think it shocked everybody. We actually broke the news on the website and my social media that he was actually going, so I'm very proud of that. But yes, so he got bit by the bug. I know everybody's seen the pictures from last year. Remember the video and the pictures of Rossi going through Ojos Negros? Those of you who don't know what Ojos Negros is, it's this kind of iconic area about 40-50 miles off the start of the Baja race, where you go through these rollers through this village. And the problem is a lot of times some of the locals still use the roads during the race. And the problem is you go over these big rollers and you can't see on the other side. So Rossi literally is sending it through these whoops at 100-plus miles an hour, just sailing the truck. Well, he jumps off of one, and there's a car there. Literally, one of the locals was in their SUV going down the course backwards. Rossi didn't see him, and Rossi literally, when he jumped, good thing the local was off to the side just a little bit, clipped their mirror in his truck and landed at 100 miles an hour And he almost kind of jumped over the top, hit the mirror with actually the tires of his truck, landed, and just kept going on, right? Everybody's like, holy crap. Video goes viral, right? Rossi never knew it happened. He gets out of the truck, and everybody's like, dude, did you see this? Like, what are you talking about? And they go, dude, you almost hit that locust. Like, what are you talking about? They show the video, and Rossi's like, holy crap, man. Like, he jumped over the top and didn't even know it happened. And he's like, man, he's like, good thing I didn't know it would have happened. It would have shook me up. But he actually didn't even see it happen. And this whole thing went viral. Rossi didn't even know. And then he gets out of the truck at the pit at the driver swap. And then everybody lets him know, like, hey, look, this is what actually happened, dude. And I think it's a funny story. The thing is, it's actually very, very scary. And it could have been a catastrophic moment for the sport of off-road. But that's kind of why you like Baja, right? Because it's anything can and will happen in Baja. It is wild, man. It is the Wild West of off-road. Nobody's going to argue that, and I think that's been the draw and the allure of IndyCar and NASCAR and these racers from Europe and things like that. Like, everybody knows the Baja 1000 is the baddest off-road race on the planet. That's not taking anything away from the Dakar Rally. Everybody respects Dakar. It's 2 weeks long. It is the most grueling race in the world. But the thing is every single night you get to stop, you get to rest, they get to re-prep the truck or the car or the UTV or the dirt bike, and then you get to go again the following day. Baja, no. When they drop the green flag, it is every man for himself for 1,000 miles. This year it's shorter because of the loop race. But it's every man, woman, and whoever else racing for themselves for 1,000 miles. And I think that's the allure of Baja. Like, it is do everything you can. Time doesn't stop to get to the finish line first, or just get to the finish line. And Rossi got bit by the bug last year, and obviously he is back, and that is a good thing for the sport of off-road. When you can perennially bring in the talent. I mean, Alexander Rossi, the dude is a Indy 500 champion. He is a two-time, I guess runner-up in the IndyCar stage. Did he get runner-up last year? I don't know. I know. But anyways, multi-time, he's always in the points chase going down the last round in IndyCar. Anytime you can get a top-shelf A-plus talent like Alexander Rossi to your event to race, like, to me, that is some of the biggest news in motorsports. And Rossi, I just saw it's on the front page of Racer magazine already. So I think this is a good thing for the sport of off-road. Stoked to have him there. I know, that's one of the things that, was always fun about the Star Car project. And I still to this day, we haven't done Star Car for, 2 years now? And almost 2 years, year and a half. And I still get people come up to me, man, I love that program. When are you bringing it back? I love to see who you were going to pull out to come to one of the races, and that's always kind of a fun thing because people don't know, and Pastrana and Faust and my boys, Antron and Torrance and things like that. Like, it's always fun, Dak Shepard, because it brings somebody new into the sport of off-road and lets them experience it for the first time. And, and it gets his hooks in you. Every time I have a conversation with Antron or Steve Torrance, they're always, Jimmy, dude, I want to come back. And obviously they're some of the greatest top fuel drivers in the world, so they haven't had a chance to yet, but I guarantee you, as soon as they retire, as soon as there's a window in their schedule, who's going to be back? Antron and Steve. Guaranteed. So, that is one thing that I love, I just absolutely love about our sport of off-road is the way we open our arms to just about everybody to come in, partake, and, and just enjoy and have a good time with it. And, I think that's one thing truly, truly special about the sport of off-road. So, speaking about the sport of off-road, I know, ever since short course kind of wrapped up in the Midwest, obviously we're wrapping up the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series this year, this weekend at Chandler at Wild Horse Pass. But one thing that I always thought was really special about not really special, but really interesting is the internet's gone viral. What's going to happen with the Midwest, And I think the way things separated with Lucas in the Midwest, I think there's still so much there that could have happened, and it just didn't work out. Sometimes you get into a relationship, business or otherwise, and you just look at things and go, this just doesn't work, and we need to go our separate directions. Obviously, the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series and the Midwest Short Course League both saw the same thing and said, you know what? I think we probably just need to go separate ways now. And that's all right. It is A-okay. So, sometimes things like that happen, and when they do, you just put your best foot forward. So it's going to be interesting to see the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series, what their calendar looks like when they drop it. I'm assuming it's going to come either this weekend or next week for 2020. But it sounds like the Midwest Short Course League, whatever their new name is going to be, they have a calendar that they're going to drop. Supposedly it's supposed to come out Friday, but they may drop it on Monday. I don't know. I've heard rumors this, that, and the other. But I am very interested. I've heard rumors, and this is completely, literally unsubstantiated rumors. And when I have somebody, and this is the way I've always approached this show, okay? When I've approached this show in regards to, I get told a lot of secrets all the time. Confidential, non-disclosure, cloak and dagger, do not tell a soul secrets. And I have been told those, kind of like the Alexander Rossi thing a year ago, in confidence, we will let you know when you're able to talk about them. Okay. And, there's been a lot of times I could have broke news, I could have said things on the show, and it could have made our ratings go up. You know what I mean? Because we would basically be breaking news and things like that. But I haven't, just in good faith, right? But in regards to this, I've been told by nobody. This is all rumors that I've heard swirling around the internet and by other people and things like that. So anytime there's rumors, I will be the disclaimer right here. These are total rumors. Nobody's told me this. I don't know. I'm not breaking anybody's trust because, look, it's just that rumor. So I have heard that the Midwest is going to have maybe a 5-event series next year. It's going to be a couple of rounds at Crandon, Bark River. It's going to be ERX, and I heard Dirt City Motorplex is going to be involved next year as well. And then I've also heard that maybe one snowmobile racing organization potentially could be, and I don't know, maybe ISOC, I don't know, but I've heard somebody in the snow industry maybe coming in and helping put this on. Obviously, I'm assuming USAC will probably be involved as well. Obviously, if it is ISOC that does the Snowcross Series, they actually put on some side-by-side races at Heydays this year, so they're dipping their toes in that water. Been doing some stuff with snow bikes as well, but they bring an amazing live stream package, and obviously they've got TV network ties with CBS Sports, I believe, for snowmobile racing. I don't know. Promotionally, it could be a decent business model or business proposition. I don't know if it is actually happening, if it is them. Like I said, these are all rumors. This is multi-people telling me, swirling around, internet rumors, buddies talking at, I don't want to say the water cooler, but bench racing. So I don't know. Maybe that's what's actually happening. It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, next week, if the rumors are true and things do come out today or Monday like they're supposed to, then we'll be able to dissect this next week and be like, all right, Jimmy was right. Whoa, Jimmy was way wrong. But this is kind of what I've heard so far. That's where I think things are leaning. Obviously, I'm assuming, I think Crandon signed a multi-year deal with Red Bull Signature Series. So I'm assuming, regardless of whatever happens, that Red Bull Signature Series will be back for Sunday at Crandon, rightfully so. They did an amazing job. And so, so that's kind of what I know so far in regards to what's happening in the Midwest. Lucas on the West Coast, I work for Lucas. I have no idea. They've been quiet to me as well. So I'm telling you, I'm excited. Hopefully they have me back next year calling the races at the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series. And hopefully I'm back in the Midwest calling them as well. But I got to tell you, I have been Switzerland on this deal. Nobody's told me anything for a fact. I know nothing. And I get everybody telling me, hey, Jimmy, you work for both series. You ought to know something. Like, seriously, telling you people, I know nothing. And it's actually been quite nice not knowing anything because I don't have to worry about spilling the beans on anything. But don't know. I am a fan of off-road just like you guys, and I got to tell you, I'm excited to see what the calendars for the Midwest, whatever that series is called, and what the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series look like in 2020, and I will be waiting just like the rest of you. So we are going to take a short break. We'll have CJ Hutchins on the line when we return here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere is possible with the Down and Dirty radio show since 2012. Do you race or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500 or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more. Super ATV is the industry leader in aftermarket UTV and ATV parts and accessories. Super ATV products are designed, engineered, tested, and manufactured right here by Super ATV. Whether you're looking to upgrade your suspension, get stronger axles, or you're looking for a new winch to get you out of a tough spot, Super ATV has what you're looking for. And since we know you're in a hurry, we offer fast, free shipping to the lower 48 states on all orders. Visit superatv.com now and get your UTV or ATV dialed in.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'd like to welcome one of my guests this week to the show, my General Tire teammate and guy that took top honors in Best in the Desert this season, CJ Hutchins. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, I know you were giving me a little bit of crap. I think earlier this year, you're like, I was waiting on my text, didn't get it, and I said, no, I got a bigger plan here. It was wishful thinking, and it worked out in our favor, though, buddy, with a championship. That's got to feel pretty good, man.
Yeah, definitely. After we win a big race like Vegas to Reno, I usually get a call from you getting me on the show, but this year you had some other guests lined up and waiting for us to finish up this championship. So we're super happy. We had just an incredible season this year. 2 second places, 2 wins. And the other race, we had a CV problem while we were winning, unfortunately, but just had a great season. My pit guys were awesome all year. And it's really what it takes is the whole team to come together to win a championship like this. So yeah, it worked out awesome.
Well, and I think, a lot of people, they've kind of shifted their mindset when they watch desert racing. I don't want to say a lot of people because I think the people in the know actually still very much pay attention to Class 1 and 1500. But I feel like, trophy trucks kind of got a lion's share of people's eyeballs recently. But, dude, Class 1, it's still a very stacked – it's still one of the premier divisions. I look at your guys' times, and you're, a lot of races beating 95% of the trophy trucks. Sometimes, all of them.
Yeah, definitely. We were really close to overalling 2 races this year. Vegas to Reno, we would have been really close to overalling it, and we actually blew the motor up with 4 miles to go, and we had to drive the last 4 miles with actually a broken crankshaft in the engine, which is pretty wild that the motor kept going. And we just lost way too much time the last 5 miles coming into the finish, and we didn't get that one. But the buggies can definitely compete on these smoother courses, and I think we've proven that time and time again. We got second overall at Silver State, beating all the trucks but one, and then again second overall at Vegas to Reno. So pretty cool. The buggies are fast. We just definitely don't get the publicity as the trucks.
Yeah, well, and, that being said, I think, qualifying, I know Score just, they got a lot of flack at their last race, didn't have qualifying, and everybody's kind of complaining about it and things like that. But I know Best in the Desert, they've stuck with a qualifying program, and I think for a guy like you who's very fast, it definitely helps out because it seems like you're always starting in, right around the top 5, in that ballpark. And, I think it really – I think some of these other series, where they haven't put the focus so much on the Class 1500s or the Class 1s, it makes it harder for those guys to, to potentially run for an overall, even though you guys are as fast. But Best in the Desert, they give you the chance to start up front, and I think it gives you guys the opportunity to really show the speed of these cars.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Best in the Desert, they're the only big organization that's really doing this right, in my opinion, giving everybody a chance to win, not just the trucks. You go to Mexico and you race Class 1, you don't even have a shot at the overall. You're starting behind 40 trucks that aren't even nearly as fast as you. So that makes it really tough. You can never go through the dust as fast as the top guys. So qualifying has always been key, and it's really important, and it definitely helps us stay out front. Not only is it good for race strategy and things like that, but also just the publicity you get. It seems like if you're not physically running about the top 10, you're never on any of the TV shows. You don't get any coverage. So when the buggies are not able to qualify with the trucks, it hurts them, not only just for their chances to overall the race, but I think it hurts with sponsors and potential opportunities because they just don't get any notoriety.
Yeah. Well, all that being said, I know we were talking about Mexico. I saw you threw something up on your social media with a map of the Baja 1000 and, kind of like one of those question marks or something like that. So that mean you guys are eyeing possibly going down to Baja?
I will be racing the 1000, but not in my car. I'll be driving a brand new Illumicraft with Jim Anderson and Vic Bruckman down there. So pretty excited. I think we're going to shake the class up a bit down there, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So tell me about this new build. Is this the first time it'll be racing?
Yep. It's a brand new Illumicraft. We're supposed to go test it like next week. Kind of a different design from your regular Class 1 car, a little lighter weight style car. So I think it'll actually be really good for this course. This course looks really tight and technical, so it should be really good for this car.
Okay. Well, that's got me excited now. So, have you scouted things out? You're going to go down there and pre-run? Do you know which section of the course you're going to be driving?
I do. We'll be down there pre-running for probably about a week and a half before the race and get all our notes and everything dialed in. It should be really fun. We're looking forward to it.
Nice. So, all that being said, I know we got SEMA coming up in a week. I know you're going to be out there. We got that big Continental General Tire party, I think Tuesday night at Caesars, which is always a good time. But what are the plans for SEMA show?
I'm just going to be there kind of cruising around, talking to most of my sponsors and seeing kind of what everybody's planning next year. So it should be good.
Yeah. Well, and talking about that, I mean, Class 1 or Class 1500, I still consider it, one of the premier divisions of off-road, How is the sponsorship proposition? Obviously, you got a lot of support from General Tire and things like that. I mean, is that conversation, especially coming off a year, dude, you're winning, you won these races, marquee events like Vegas to Reno, you're running in the top 5 overall at most races, you just took home a championship. I mean, how is that, that conversation with a Class 1500 car? I mean, is it a pretty easy conversation for that, or people still kind of looking at trucks, or I know, how is that for you?
Yeah, it's definitely very difficult to secure any sponsors that want to put up cash, which is really what a big team needs is funding. We have quite a few sponsors that help us out with products and stuff like that, but it's still very difficult to find a big sponsor. We keep waiting. We're hoping someone's out there listening, paying attention. But it seems like these big companies would rather sponsor a truck that finishes 20th or 30th overall rather than finish a buggy that finishes top 10 almost every race. So it's kind of crazy to me. I don't understand it, but hopefully one of these days we'll get a breakthrough and have a big sponsor come through.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think through this. Like, I agree with you completely. You know what I mean? Like, there's some of these trucks that, the best they might finish is 25th in trophy truck or something. And that's if they get it to the finish line, So it's like, why would a guy like, like a CJ Hutchins or a Parkhouse or somebody like that, that's a badass Class 1 driver. Why would you pick that over, one of you guys, and do you think it's just the TV package or how it's kind of geared more around trucks? Like, I'm just trying to think, like, what can the sport do to help guys like you out?
Man, I wish I knew the answer. I've gotten more TV time than anybody this year, and it just, I don't know. It doesn't seem to matter much.
That's crazy, man. So
we ran out front every race this year, and we had really good TV coverage. I thought Lucas did a great job this season, kind of trying to get more buggies in there. And like I said, I believe I had more TV time than anybody this season. So the return on investment for a small buggy team like us seems like it would be much better than on one of these big truck teams. But apparently I'm wrong.
Well, I don't know. I think we all are, I guess. But all that being said, looking at 2020, what are the plans? You guys still putting them in together? I know, you've always said you'd like to go back down to Baja and do some stuff. Obviously with Mint 400 and that breaking away from Best in the Desert, I think all of us kind of looking at our schedules, being like, where are we going to be this year? How are we going to approach things? I mean, you have any idea what your guys' plans for this next season are?
We haven't sat down and figured anything out officially yet. We're kind of up in the air as well. It sounds like most people are up in the air right now as to what they're doing next year. There's a lot of great races out there, and a lot of them are with different promoters, so I'm not sure that we'll be racing just one series next year. We might bounce around, try to go chase the bigger car counts.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of a weird position for you guys because you guys, are going to be running the number one plate, or, you guys are the top team in 1500. And it's like, it's got to be kind of one of those things. Like, do we defend our championship, or do we go and just key in on these marquee events over 2 or 3 different promoters,
Yeah, it definitely seems like we get more publicity from just winning a race rather than winning a championship. It's kind of sad, but that's kind of the direction our sport has gone the past 5-10 years. It's all about the now, not necessarily the overall picture anymore. But we'll see. We haven't decided really what we're going to do next year. There's a lot of races, and a lot of them are really close together, so it's really going to be pick which ones you really want to go have the most fun at and go for it. So we'll see where we end up.
Yeah. Well, talking about big races, I mean, you guys have had Vegas to Reno, seems like almost on lock the past few years, man. What do you think the deal is with you and Vegas to Reno? Because, I mean, like, if I was a betting person and they had, Vegas to Reno odds in the sports book in Vegas, like, at this point, anybody would be a fool not to throw their money on CJ Hutchins. What do you think you guys have been able to do to put it together like you have the past few years at Vegas to Reno?
It all starts at the shop. The car's got to be prepped right, and Jake's Fab Works down in California prepped our car all year, and they just did a phenomenal job. We had one issue at Parker. It's nothing really their fault. We lost a CV boot, but other than that, the car was flawless all year. So it definitely takes a perfect car and a great team. We have an all-volunteer team, and these guys come out like before Vegas Reno, where we know we're going to have a couple tire changes, and they'll come out and practice 3-4 times, and that's really what it takes. You can't get past in the pits at those races, and it's a team sport. A lot of times the drivers get all the credit, but it's definitely a team sport.
Yeah. Well, and all that being said, you guys have this, front-running Class 1 program. You've got, championship to your name this season. You've taken all these big wins. I mean, that being said, all this talk we've talked about trophy truck. Have you guys eyed possibly moving to a truck division, or are you pretty content, just being in the buggy ranks there in Class 1?
I think that's everyone's ultimate goal, really, is to be in that top tier of trophy trucks. But it's really not in our budget for what we can afford to do. So that's really what's held us back from moving to the truck is just maintaining the trucks. It's about 4 times more than what we spend on our car. So that's really been the factor for us not being able to move up.
Yeah. Well, and that's funny. You start talking about the finances of things and stuff like that. And I look at the speed of a Class 1 car, what you guys are doing in overall in races. And then, I look at, in the costs. And then I look at the cost of a trophy truck. And I'm like, man, I think there's a lot of us fools in here that are running trucks instead of buggies because, I look at the classifieds, dude. And you can get, a race-winning, like, legitimate car that could go out and compete for top fives for $100K. Class 1 car, trophy truck, you buy a $100,000 trophy truck, you're going to be running around in 40th place, Yeah.
If there even is a such thing as a $100,000 trophy truck, you got guys out there, spending $1 million upwards. Some guys spent over $2 million, I've heard, on their new trucks, let alone the maintenance that goes with them, another $1 million+ a year. These are huge budgets, literally 4 times my budget, and we still go out there and compete with these guys. So I always think it's great. We show up with, 4 or 5 pickup trucks and an open flatbed trailer and go out there and put the whoop on these $1 million teams. So it's always a giggle to myself when we're passing these guys along the way.
Yeah, I honestly, like my prediction in the next couple of years, the way costs have escalated in trophy truck and now it's escalating in 6100, like I feel like things are going to go full circle here, and I think everybody's going to start going, man, we're spending a ton of money, and I think they're going to start eyeing Class 1 again. And I honestly, my prediction is in the next couple of years, I see the numbers going back up in Class 1 to those 40 and 50 entry numbers that we used to see, just because I think the costs and like the ROI and just the speed, like everything is there. I think everybody wanted to go to the trucks, but I see it going full circle because, like you said, nobody can chase these $1 million bills, every year, and I honestly think Class 1's going to come back and have a resurgence.
Yeah, trophy truck is just so crazy right now. There's literally, maybe 5, maybe 10 teams that have a shot at winning a race now. Out of 50 trucks that show up, there's 5 of them that have a shot at winning it. And these are guys spending millions and millions of dollars every year. And even your average trophy truck guy, they don't want to spend that kind of money, I don't think. So it'll definitely be interesting to see if either the class gets split for all these new multi-million-dollar four-wheel drive trucks, or if they keep it all together. But like you said, maybe some of these guys will come back to Class 1 and come have some fun.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that. CJ, I appreciate the time calling into the show, man. Congrats on the championship, buddy, and I guess I will see you in about a week out there at SEMA at the General Tire Continental Tire Party. And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere as possible with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself, or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Great catching up with my boy CJ Hutchins. He want to talk about a badass, one of the most underrated drivers. I can't say underrated, like, because his talent's there. He's got the wins, he's got the pedigree, but for some odd reason, the dude just doesn't quite blip on the radar. I don't know, but like, he's a badass. Look at what he's won the past couple of years. He's not even underrated. I just don't know, man. Good talker and everything else, but CJ, my boy, great having him on the show, doing it on those General Tires, and anywhere as possible. And generally, when you're looking for the podium, that's what gets you there. So great having him on the show. We're, I guess, wrapping up hour number one. We're going to move into hour number two. We got Power Rankings with Chris Leone, double dose of those. And then we've got Tiffany Stone calling in on trail to SEMA. So we got a whole lot more coming at you in hour number two right here on the show. And it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to hour number two. We got a lot to talk about in the world of motorsports. Also, I think we got a Dirtfish Rally Report to slide in there as well. So that going on. And do want to mention, though, my Jim Beaver Esports team, we've got a Facebook page right now. It's under Reignition Esport, but we're getting that changed over. We've also got Jim Beaver Motorsports or Jim Beaver Esports on Twitter. Go and follow those accounts, man. We're sharing a whole lot of content in regards to the esports program, and if you're following me, you should be following them as well. So much appreciated for those of you that do. And once again, go and hit us up on iTunes. Subscribe to the show. Love your support there on iTunes. Hit that rating button as well. All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll return here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, hour number 2, right after this short commercial break. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, kicking off hour number 2. Thanks to all you guys tuning in nationally. May have missed hour number 1. Appreciate you guys being here. If you're tuning in, I guess digitally, streaming on the internet, you probably were around here for hour number 1, but welcome back. Anyways, big hour number 2. We got Tiffany Stone calling in from Trail to SEMA, and then we've also got Chris Leone doing a double dose of power rankings. But before we get to that, I got to get right down to business with a Dirtfish Rally Report for this week, brought to you by our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. You know what? Find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com. And even more importantly, if you want a discount, you want to go to Dirtfish, you want to get that training at the school, use the coupon code DOWNDIRTYDF. That's DOWNDIRTYDF. And you know what? That's going to get you 15% off your class. You know what? When you're talking a class that costs a couple of grand, boom, that is a big chunk of change courtesy of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. So yes, DOWNDIRTYDF, that will get you 15% off. Now, talking about rally, we got some ARA rally. That's right, ARX, America's Rallycross. They wrapped up, but we still got some ARA rally going on. The 2019 LSPR, this Lake Superior Performance Rally. This is up there in the UP of Michigan. Yeah, that happened this past weekend, and it was one young Oliver Solberg taking top honors. Oliver, this kid, the prodigy. He is amazing to watch behind the wheel. 16 years old and just shredding. Him and Aaron Johnston for Subaru Motorsports USA taking top honors. You wonder where David Higgins is at? Yes, we all did, right? Well, David having some struggles early on in the rally put him from behind, and I think he had to super rally possibly to get back in it. I don't quite know how that worked with David, but I do know he had some problems early on, and he did not finish the rally. But he did take top honors on the championship. LSPR, it was Oliver Solberg. Then coming in second, it was Barry McKenna and Andrew Hayes, who have had a phenomenal year this year. Definitely don't understate the year that they've had. And then we had my good friend Peter Fatella. He took third place on the podium. Looking down at full results, looking at, I guess light four-wheel drive, Gregor's Bujaj. We had, what are we looking at here? I'm looking down this list. We got Coyne, Wallingford, Blake Lynn, Seamus Burke, Michael Engel, Chris Barbo there in the top 10 as well. I was looking for two-wheel drive class, and we got to go all the way down to, yes, I was right, Seamus Burke there in the 8th spot. So, those were your Dirtfish Rally Report for this week. Use that coupon code DOWNDIRTYDF for 15% off, and we'll be back after this. Want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at PolarisRZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire. General Tire's Grabber X3 mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3 from General Tire. Make your anywhere possible by visiting GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, aggressive styling with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Super ATV is the industry leader in aftermarket UTV and ATV parts and accessories. Super ATV products are designed, engineered, tested, and manufactured right here by Super ATV. Whether you're looking to upgrade your suspension, get stronger axles, or you're looking for a new winch to get you out of a tough spot, Super ATV has what you're looking for. And since we know you're in a hurry, we offer fast, free shipping to the lower 48 states on all orders. Visit superatv.com now and get your UTV or ATV dialed in.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Chris Leone, we are rolling into power rankings for this week. Chris, the media director for the Down and Dirty Radio Show, welcome to the show once again in our weekly segment, and I'm very, very excited about this week, Chris, because we kind of had our traditional NASCAR and NHRA stuff, and I feel like that's kind of been the pillar of what's kept these power rankings kind of afloat. The past few weeks for some odd reason. But, man, we had rally, drifting, we had some supercross, in addition to NASCAR and NHRA. And, it's got me kind of excited for this week because I feel like we're going to have some new names cycled in this week, Chris.
You bet, Jim. I mean, yeah, we had the season finales for both Formula Drift and Stage Rally here in the States. I mean, we had Monster Energy Cup, we had NASCAR, we even had ARCA, wrapping up its season at Kansas, NHRA kicking off the second half of the playoffs. I mean, it was a big weekend. It's honestly, you named off a couple of things just talking right there, and I just sort of realized, oh, geez, I forgot that. And I'm actually going to be revising my top 5 on the fly because there was one name that I just totally forgot to put on there, and that's okay because it's okay because I know exactly who I'm bumping and where I'm going to stick them. So It's all right. Crisis averted.
Yeah, well, and that's what's funny about this, and I think we do not confer beforehand. And I know sometimes mine's the same way. Like I have my 5 roughed in on this piece of paper, and we can start talking. And like literally, I'll be shuffling mine around and crossing them out and writing arrows and moving them up spots and down spots. And like this is such a fluid concept, and I never know who's what. I've had people on the honorable mention list that get bumped into the real ones and taking people off. Like it's funny. We start talking, and dude, my list is always ever changing. It's very rarely that I have a 5 that are locked in and they don't change from the start of this segment to the end. It's kind of funny. And you mentioned the ARCA finale, and I knew ARCA was going on, and I forgot it was a finale weekend, and that's already got a name in my head, and I'm like, do they deserve to be bumping somebody out? I don't know. So this is going to be interesting, Chris, but I guess the way we'll probably try and do this like we have the past couple weeks, maybe get our top 2 in, and then we'll get the top 3 after the break or something like that. So anyways, let's get rolling here with number 5. And I can almost promise you our lists last week, they were eerily close. This week, I think it's going to be complete opposite. I think we're going to be total different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, definitely, Jim. I mean, and my number 5 is actually going to be the name that I just bumped in while we started talking. And that's going to be Oliver Solberg for a dominant performance at Lake Superior Performance Rally. I mean, admittedly, I haven't really touched a lot of rally this year, which is probably why it didn't immediately come to mind. I had been, I had a couple of names that I was sort of flip-flopping with on number 5, but I got to give it to Oliver Solberg and Aaron Johnston. They wrapped up a terrific season for Subaru Motorsports USA. They won 10 stages. Solberg managed to bump his way into the top 3 in the championship standings. I mean, David Higgins, yes, of course, we all knew that David was going to lock it up this year, didn't we? And, amazing that he was able to grab his 10th career title here in the States. He's going to be honored at the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame. Very well-deserved honors for David Higgins. But this weekend, it was all about Oliver Solberg. And, I hope that we'll see more of him in America. But, considering what kind of talent he's shown and considering that he's shown so much international interest, it'll be really interesting to me to see whether or not he's back with Subaru Motorsports USA next year or if somebody in the WRC is going to come calling.
Yeah, and that's it's an interesting with Oliver, you know what I mean? I think this is, you've got a team like Subaru, Motorsports USA, and a guy like David has come from the UK, and he's made a career here in the States. And I love David to death, dear friend of mine. But we all know, at some point he's going to retire. His son is, becoming a great driver in his own right, and David, he's probably not going to want to do this forever, And I think he can move into a John Buffum role and be an ambassador for Subaru and probably very involved with the developing cars and strategy for the stage rally program and things like that. But a kid like Oliver, does he go back to Europe where, let's face it, your career is it's very short-lived in Europe. I mean, it's a very volatile environment. It's, you've got some of the rally greats who have struggled to find rides and things like that. Does Oliver, do the safe play? And, I could see him signing with Subaru USA and having, a 20-year career there, or spending 25 years with the organization and winning, and blowing every record out of the water, So is that an actual, career move that maybe he stays stateside and signs that deal with them and just decides he's going to be a North American rally driver his whole career? Like, I don't know, Chris, but, you got to think like, that would probably be the most stable business decision he could ever make in his career.
Selfishly, Jim, I hope we get many more years of Oliver Solberg here in the States. But, considering the opportunities that he's gotten and considering, more importantly, the fact that he has made the most of them, remember, he was in Gymkhana 10. There aren't a lot of kids that get the opportunity to go show up in one of Ken Block's Gymkhana videos, and but he has made the most of every single opportunity that's been thrown his way. It's not like there have been a lot of instances where he stepped in a car and people have looked and said, oh, he doesn't have it. He's just getting there on daddy's name. Every time they've given him a good car, he has performed to the capabilities of those cars. He has won races. He has won titles. Again, I think you're right from a business case, especially now. I am just, I'm thinking that he's got to be the hottest rally prospect the world over. And so, there's a part of me that says, I don't know, is he still going to, are those factory WRC teams going to come calling and have enough money to wave around and enough opportunities to wave around that, he's going to be on the world's biggest stage sooner than later? And I think that's the case, which, is not a knock on anything we've got over here. I was at the Subaru Motorsport USA shop opening in Vermont, and God, what an amazing facility. I've still got but by the time this makes the air, I may have actually finally gotten around to posting my write-up with all my photos, but, it's certainly not a knock on those guys. It's just, man, when you're as in demand as I think Oliver Solberg is going to be over the next couple of years, I think you're going to get some crazy, crazy offers. And, if you can handle it, and I think he's shown that he is mature beyond his years, I think that, one of those offers may just be a little too good to pass up if it means a WRC drive.
Yeah, at some point, that was wishful thinking on my part, but I really, truly think he's going to land at the top level of the WRC. But getting on to my number 5, I will get to Oliver. He's on my list. Getting on with my number 5, though, I'm going to go NASCAR racing, Chris, and I'm going to go to second place in Monster Energy Cup, and I'm going to go with Chase Elliott. Yes, second place finisher I have on my list, and I don't have the winner on my list. I will put that out there. But I don't know if you've watched the storyline going into this, but this is a case of a driver with his back against the wall. He's on the outside looking in. Chase Elliott, in a nail-biter, ends up taking second place, had a shot at the victory, but he barely snuck into the next round of the playoffs. Like, the whole story, Chase shouldn't have made the playoffs and should have made the cut. And anytime a guy can literally have one of the drives of his life and finish in second place to sneak into the next round of the playoffs, like, just the whole story, I don't know, everything about it. I've become a big Chase Elliott fan. I was a big Bill Elliott fan, but I don't know, just the whole story in general had me, it kind of had me, and for some odd reason, I just had to put that performance, not that he won, but just the performance in general. It had to make my power rankings this week.
Yeah, Jim, I definitely struggled with, whether or not to put Chase Elliott on my list or not. Certainly well-deserved when you earn that extra playoff spot. In the fashion that he did, and he really needed some help from, one of the two Team Penske cars, because both Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski were kind of teetering on the edge there towards the end of that race. And Logano spun, and then Keselowski was just kind of losing positions at the end. But credit to Chase Elliott for putting himself in exactly the position he needed to be at exactly the time he needed to do it to make sure that he moved on. And now you've got 3 more races to either claim a win or, just figure out what you need to do from a consistency standpoint to get to Homestead with a chance at the title. So, definitely credit to him. I will say that Chase was on my honorable mention list. I didn't quite get there with him, but that's just because I thought there was too much else, kind of going on. And I think I kept it to 5 winners this week. So speaking of that,
well, hold on, we're going to have to pause here. We're going to have to pause before we get to number 4 because we are running up against we're running up against a break, Chris. So we are going to get to we're going to have to talk fast here in the next segment. But we'll be back after this with our top 4 in power rankings here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Cranon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or @VisionWheel on social media to learn more.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver and Chris Leone here, and because we got so long-winded between the two of us in the first segment, you had Oliver Solberg, I had Chase Elliott as our number 5. So we got to go 4 through 1, Chris. So that being said, man, give me your number 4 here for your power rankings for this week.
Well, Jim, you want speed? I am going to take us down to Texas Motorplex, and we are going to go straight into NHRA racing. And I'm going to go to the top fuel category and give a shout-out to Billy Torrance at number 4. An honorable mention to Jerry Savoy for, actually becoming the first racer to win a second race in the countdown this year on Pro Stock Motorcycle. But it was actually Billy who became the first to do it in top fuel. Beat Jordan Vandergriff. Vandergriff, I guess, smoked the tires a little bit, in the top fuel final. But, it's surprising. I mean, Steve Torrance is still the points leader, and we have probably spent collectively hours on this show talking about Steve Torrance at this point. But it's actually, even though the Torrances have won the past 3 NHRA races, it's Billy who's taken 2 out of the 3, and he's up to 4th in the standings right now. So, I mean, what can you say? It might be a father-son battle for the championship.
Yeah, I know. It was a hell of a run by Billy, and I will get to him on my list for sure. And, I think the whole NHRA top fuel category, it's got everybody scratching their heads in a minute, or at the moment. But we'll get to that in a minute. But I'm going to go to my number 4, which was your number 5. And I know we spent collectively probably almost an entire segment talking about one young Oliver Solberg. So I will keep it nice and tight here. But, out there at LSPR, 10 stage wins. He's got multiple victories on the season. I think he's taken three victories. I know, obviously, David Higgins, had some struggles. I think they crashed out, ended up having like a braking issue or something crazy happened. And they ended up crashing out and then coming back, I think, super rallied maybe and got back in the rally. But Oliver Solberg, 10 stage wins. A young kid. I mean, we've talked about his talent the entire first segment. I had to have him on my list. Had him a notch above yours at number 4, Chris. I think both of us are pretty. I think our consensus on Oliver Solberg is pretty close to being the same here. So that being said, let's move on to number 3. Who do you have at number 3, Chris?
Well, Jim, number 3, I am also going to go to Kansas, but I am actually going to give it to the winner, Denny Hamlin. I know that Denny had already kind of punched his ticket into the round of 8. By the time he took the checkered flag, I believe he pointed his way in beforehand. But regardless, he's been incredibly strong this season. I mean, I've noticed that NASCAR, they booked good old Rowdy Burns, Mr. Michael Rooker, to do the commercials, and Michael Rooker has kind of thrown some shots at Denny Hamlin in some of those, talking about how he's won all these races and he hasn't won a championship. Well, I think Denny's been listening, and I think he's been motivated. And, it's funny because I think we thought coming into this season that, Christopher Bell was going to be in the number 11 car come 2020. And what has Denny Hamlin done but responded with one of the best seasons of his career? He's a Daytona 500 champion. He's been winning races left and right. He won the most recent one. He's in the round of 8. He is a strong contender for winning the championship at Homestead. So, kudos to Denny, and he's living up to his sponsor because he is certainly delivering right now.
Yeah, no arguments on Hamlet being on the list at all. For my number 3, though, I'm going to go to the House of Drift in Irwindale, California, which I guess if you had to call any drift event the Indy 500 of drifting, it would be, Irwindale is a place where, first touched ground here in the States, iconic venue for Formula D. I got to go with the overall winner, Ken Gucci. He wasn't a factor in the points battles really this year, but, Gucci, I put him up on a pedestal of the legends of Formula Drift. I mean, guys like Von Gittin and Dai Yoshihara and Forsberg and Turk. And I've got Gucci up there as one of the OGs, one of the, originals. Reese Millen would be in that. So, with that being said, Tanner Faust would probably be in there as well. But Gucci, I mean, anytime you see a legend like that come back, take a victory, and not only that, but to take the victory in the round of 4, he actually had to knock James Dean out, we know James Dean has been darn near unstoppable this season. He was ultimately the points champion. But to go through Dean and then take a victory, that's a big deal. And I had to roll with Gucci. Had to have him on my list somewhere. I thought that was kind of special, him taking that big victory there at the House of Drift. So Ken Gucci, Formula D winner at Irwindale, number 3 on my list, Chris.
Well-deserved number 3, Jim. I admit that Ken was actually the number 5 that I bumped off for Oliver Solberg right as we started the segment. But, and it's so difficult in Formula Drift as well. I mean, you see guys who are just absolutely legendary that go years and years without victories. I mean, I think it was Chris Forsberg who had a winless championship season pretty recently.
Yeah.
So, it's so crazy. It's so difficult. I mean, obviously drifting's different because it's judged, but, rather than necessarily on speed or laps the way that we're used to with everything else that goes on this list. But regardless, well-deserved to have Ken on there. And I mean, I guess that makes him my number 6 because I bumped Oliver on. For my number 2, though, I'm going back to the quarter mile, going back to Texas Motorplex. Matt Hagan had one of the most consistent, dominant victories that I think you're going to see in this entire countdown, running 390s, 3.903 in each of the first 2 rounds. I think it was 3.909 to take down Bob Tasca in the final round. But, incredible performance by Hagan. It was his 3rd victory of the season, so he's matched his total from last year. He's done a phenomenal job with Don Schumacher Racing. Robert Hight is still the man to beat in Funny Car, and I think it may be a difficult task for anybody to catch him. But, when you have a weekend like Matt Hagan did, you're definitely going to make it to my power rankings list. So, Matt Hagan is my number 2.
No arguments with Hagan. For my number 2, though, I'm going to stay with NHRA, but I am going to go with them Capco boys at number 2. Obviously, Billy Torrance taking the victory, but hey, I found a loophole. I found a loophole in the power rankings this week, Chris, because NHRA, it's a 7-day window, and NHRA wound up last week on a Monday. And then this week it was on a Sunday, so I get to include Monday's results into this, so I have to go with the Capco boys because Torrance taking a victory and Billy Torrance taking a victory. So I couldn't just give it to Billy looking at that 7-day window. I had to say them Capco boys because, as you said, they've taken 2 out of the last 3 victories. Billy's now 4th in points. Steve's leading. I love Steve to death, but I would absolutely love to see Billy fight Steve down to the wire for this thing. It's just an amazing feel-good story. We talked last week at length on it. We don't need to this week because we're running short on time, but I had them Capco boys and Billy Torrance there at number 2 on my list.
Always looking for those loopholes. Oh my God, Jim. I mean, it's your own playing field, so I get it. You're writing the rules yourself. I didn't.
Tell me I'm wrong, though. It's a 7-day window. I get to include Monday into this week's.
That's fair. I mean, I think we included Monday last week too because of the rain delay. So I'm not going to hold against you if you want to double dip. I mean, it's still the same last name, isn't it?
Yeah.
But for number one, I have a feeling that we might have a shared number one. Did this particular person compete in Las Vegas, and did they take home six figures?
Yes, they did, and I think that means we were both talking about Adam Cianciarulo, who made his 450 debut, and what a better way to make your debut on a 450 bike than to take home overall honors in Monster Energy Cup, Chris.
Oh, Jim, I mean, and, honorable mention as well to Malcolm Stewart, who I think surprised everybody by riding as well as he did. But, when you've got to, what do we say all the time on this segment? To be the man, you got to beat the man. Eli Tomac is the man. Adam Cianciarulo beat him. Beat him straight up, too. Beat him out of the Joker lap where it looked like Tomac had way more momentum. But, Adam held on to that lead. And, my God.
How scary is it that they're teammates?
How he debuted.
How scary is it for the rest of the Supercross field? They're teammates this year, though. I mean, in 2020. Man, these guys could run the table on the field, Chris.
It is a big difference from what we saw last year with Savacci kind of, people didn't really like how Savacci raced Tomac last year with $1 million on the line. They kind of felt like he laid up. Well, let's put it this way. I don't think Adam Cianciarulo is going to lay up on Eli Tomac at any point in the next year. I think Adam's got something to prove. I think Eli is going to have to work real hard, to make sure that Adam doesn't beat him for the championship or in the overall standings. I mean, it's still crazy to think about how dominant Eli Tomac has been in Supercross, and yet the fact that he still doesn't have a Supercross title on the 450, and what would it say? And kind of the same thing for Musquin. I mean, we saw that this year with Cooper Webb. Cooper Webb comes in, joins the KTM team, and boom, championship. But, I mean, Cianciarulo was really going to push Tomac in 2020. I mean, statement made. No doubt. And, it's going to be real scary for the rest of the field. But, I think it's going to be real scary for Eli Tomac, too. And we're going to see exactly what kind of rider he is in 2020. Because now, you've got another talented, up-and-coming rider who's got a lot to prove and who is going to have a lot, riding on his back. Really, we're going to see what kind of riders both of them are.
So we have to take a short break, and we come back, more here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself, or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, joined on the line by my partner in crime, Tiffany Stone, who I don't know if we're going to be able to do a segment next week because you will be on trail to SEMA, T-Stone, but I know we got a slam pack schedule for out there at SEMA. But I don't know, what's your plan? I know you're literally in transit to trail to SEMA right now.
Yeah, no, I was fortunate. One of my most favorite spots in the entire world, and every time I come to AZ, I always try to go there, Sedona. So I spent the day in Sedona yesterday, just looking at the Red Rocks, doing a little trail riding. I guess you could say I was shaking down the Jeep since I put that new lift, new suspension, new wheels, tires on there. Just wasn't anything crazy. if anybody knows about the off-road trails in Sedona, we took the trail that you get to Devil's Bridge and then made a left and head over to Secret Canyon. But it was just really cool to be able to do that, kind of get more familiar with the Jeep, make sure everything's fitting right. And then earlier today, just cleaning, detailing, putting all the new logos. And it's been very, very hard because I got the wrap done last week, but I wanted to have everything done and clean. So nobody's actually seen the wrap on the Jeep. So when I show up today for Trail to SEMA, it's actually going to be pretty cool to have all of that. And obviously, of course, I'll put that on social media. So it's kind of hard, Jim. It's like, you know, when you have like a Christmas present or something that you want to show everybody, but you can't yet because you want it to be like this big splash. Well, that's exactly what I did. I pretty much turned my Jeep into like a race car type deal where it's like, oh, this new wrap's on it, but I can't show anybody yet.
No, I get it. It's like I've got this new Razor build. It's the same way. Like I actually the weekend after SEMA, I'm taking it out. We're doing a big photo shoot, and it'll make kind of its public debut that weekend. But it is kind of funny that you mentioned that because I've got the same thing going on, and it's like I'm so antsy to try and show everybody. But I don't know. I guess we'll have to keep the covers on it for 2.5 more weeks at least.
At least for you. Mine will be unveiled today. So anybody who follows me on social media or follows any of the Trail to SEMA peeps that are going, they'll be able to definitely see that. I did put a little hint on there with some red and where I said it's all in the details. So if they saw that, it looks really, really cool. Super, obviously, T-Stone approved, but I just want to say a big shout out to SSI Decals for coming in. You know, obviously anybody who knows me or heard any of the show, it's been a pretty rough 5 months, and with them working with me so closely, you know, towards the end of the crunch, trying to make it all happen, they were able to overnight my wrap, get it all ready before I even head out to LSPR last weekend. So thank you and big shout out to them.
Yeah. So talking about that, I know Trail to SEMA, you've got that. That's a big deal. But I know you said you're hitting 4 states, but you kind of you're going into this thing dark. It's kind of almost like it's going to be kind of fun. You don't have like a real roadmap of what you're actually doing, right?
No, I know we're supposed to be in southern Phoenix area later on today. We're all meeting there. And I know we're hitting up some trails, not specifically. My assumption is, because I heard that we're not doing Colorado or Utah like we did last year. So my assumption is we're going to hit up, obviously, Arizona because we're here, and obviously Nevada because of Las Vegas. But I'm assuming that we'll probably go to California and maybe New Mexico. That's what I'm thinking. But like you said, I'm in the dark here. I actually don't know where we're going, but I'm pretty excited about that because it's cool, you know. The trails won't get overpacked or overpopulated with all the people that we have, and it's just kind of new and exciting because then, if you know me really well, then I won't be able to psych myself out like I did last year, knowing that we were doing Pritchett Canyon, which is literally the hardest trail in Moab. So at least I won't be up to like 2-3 o'clock in the morning terrifying myself watching what trails we're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure there. But yeah, I know before we even get to that, you just road trip from the UP down to you're in Arizona now. Yeah, so we wrapped up LSPR. I know we've kind of been talking about that a little bit here on the show, but take us through LSPR because this is an interesting. I guess season. I guess, Oliver Solberg, Higgins won another championship. But Oliver Solberg, Tiff, I mean, you want to talk about a breakout year. This kid's insane, and he only ran a part-time schedule and still wound up, third in the championship, I think. It took 3 wins. I mean, you want to talk about a prodigy, man. This kid that's him, right?
Exactly. Prodigy is a word that I would be using for Oliver. When your dad is Petter, which is so great to see him at every single rally supporting his son. He's always at, ATC or FTC, depending on where he's at. He's always got his hand or his phone out in his hand. He's watching the numbers on the app and watching the live timing and scoring. But you're right. Oliver came through. He didn't do a few of the rallies where Travis Pastrana stepped in, and he still took 3rd overall in the National Points Championship. Just turned 18 years old, so happy belated birthday to him as well. But he is a great driver. And, even before we were at STPR and I was chatting with him and I was like, Oliver, you've done 3 to 4 different events or, something that you're driving a car or a vehicle, and they're all different types of vehicles, all different types of cars, and even in different countries and time zones. And when I talked to him, I was like, how do you do this? How do you, make sure that you're ready to go, that jet lag? He's like, Tiffany, being able to race and rally, that's what keeps me going. He's like, I thrive off of that because I just want to get better and better. And since he's 18, he does have that valid driver's license in the U.S., so once again, it makes it a little bit easier to be able to do the stages and just transit himself, because he used to have to get out and then his co-driver, Aaron Johnson, or whomever his co-driver, they would switch and, come back in. And that's still taking time out from when they're trying to either transit to another stage or they're transiting to service. So he did mention how that just helps him a little bit, and he does have time. And it's funny to think that was the only thing really holding him back, was him not having a correct driver's license for the state.
Yeah, I don't know. I think his whole entire year has just been an insane story. I know Chris and I have been talking about, what's next for him, Tiff. Like, I don't know. It's like, here's this kid. Like, I think he's got to have basically the rally world calling him at this point saying, hey, come here. Like, he's that guy. I don't know that, he's a once-in-a-generational type talent, I think.
Exactly, and I tried to get that out of him. You know me, I'm always trying to find out what you're doing for 2020, and part of my job is getting that information, and honestly, we weren't even able to. He wouldn't elude what was happening, but I really do hope Oliver comes back, and honestly, I kind of, it'd be cool to see Travis come out, too, for a full year, and that Travis is always a great, advocate of the sport, and it's so great to be able to chat with him because he really genuinely loves it. He does it for a hobby, and those are the things that the sport needs, is people who genuinely have the passion for it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So I know SEMA show coming up. I know you and I are kind of bummed about that. Not bummed that SEMA's coming up, but bummed that, Tiff, what are we going to do about this whole Halloween thing we've got lingering over our heads? You and I are big Halloween fans, and you're going to be on, Trail to SEMA when it goes on, and I don't know. We had, all these plans for dress up and all this other stuff out the window now.
It is out the window. I am happy that everybody on Trail to SEMA, we want to try to dress up. I will be a version of the Little Mermaid, and I brought some blood and stuff. So I always like to be like, I told you, the bloody, gory version of whatever it is. I am not the chick who's like, oh, it's Halloween, I'm going to be a hot, sexy nurse. I'd be like, I'm not going to be a dead, gory nurse, and that's going to be me. But I don't know. I'm kind of sad. I always enjoy Fremont Street for Halloween. You have some of the best people watching that I've ever seen out there on Fremont Street.
Yeah, Fremont, it's like Halloween every day of the year, and I haven't actually been on Fremont on Halloween, but it's like dress up every other day. So I got to think that's like taken to the next level on Halloween. Like, it's got to be off the hook insane, because it's normally just insane on any given evening.
Exactly, and I've actually been there the past 2 years on Halloween, and it has been, it's just packed, everybody's in costume, and you're absolutely right. It's like people dress up anyway, so it's like, is this just a normal day for them, or what's happening? But I'm excited. I always enjoy being in Vegas for Halloween because they have some of the best parties, too.
Definitely some of the best parties in Vegas. I know I saw they've got all kinds of crazy stuff happening. I know actually Tim Burton just had an art exhibit open in Vegas, like all of his artwork from Nightmare Before Christmas, and like he's done all kinds of gothic type movies and things like that. I think going back to Edward Scissorhands and maybe even Beetlejuice, some of the original Batmans, like just dark art. Like they've got this exhibit in Vegas and it's opening right around Halloween, and I'm like, how rad would that be to go and see? So Vegas, they totally embrace the whole Halloween thing. I love it.
I love that. Maybe that's what we can do. We can get our Halloween fix by going to do that. One of my best friends, Amanda, is a huge Tim Burton fan. So either way, I probably should go there, snap some photos for her, and send them along. When they do Tim Burton pop-up bars or Tim Burton pop-up shops, I try to do that. It's, I travel so much, and why not make the best out of every experience?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I know what's your SEMA plans look like. I know you and I were doing a show with RacingJunk.com on one day. We're doing a show with Rigid Industries on another. I know you've got some appearances and stuff like that. What's SEMA look like for you, Tiff?
Pretty much just kind of going around talking to a bunch of the sponsors that I have. MTM Hydro Parts will be there, of course. Rigid I'm going to go to Taco Tuesday with Rigid on, obviously, Tuesday.
Yep.
So that'll be fun. You and I have some parties that we're going to hit up. Something. It's going to be so different, Jim, to see you and I all dressed up. I don't think you've ever seen me in heels and, like, with my hair fully done, maybe some fake eyelashes. I might pull those out, but, like, it will be hilarious. Because, like, I know I'm a girl. I look like a girl, but it will be funny because I'll actually be in a long dress with, like, high heels and stuff like that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because not like I've seen pictures of you, you know what I mean? But every time we're at a race or something like that, you know, you got your 3 stripes on and jeans or whatever. I mean, we're in the mud or the muck or the dirt or something like that. Yeah, we'll be a little interesting to see you all done up and stuff like that.
Well, I'll give you one guess, Jim, on what color my dress is.
Do I even need one? Black, obviously, right?
Yep, it is black. It's all black. So, yeah, you don't need to even ask what color it is.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the only other option conceivable I would have thought would be red, but, you know, I was like, nah, it's got to be black.
It is. I still got to be able to do that. Maybe we can, you know, I'll do a video or a photo of me, like, coming out of my Jeep or whatnot and all in my black.
You got to do that. That would be rad. Like, I think that's awesome. Especially, like, you could actually, this is something you can't do at SEMA, but, like, literally, like, maybe you could do it on the trail or something. Literally, like, go through all this mud and muck and be out in the dirt, and then just literally open the door and step out and you're down. Like, I don't know, just, like, but the scene's got to be right. Like, out there in the rocks and dirt of Moab or something. Like, I think that'd be kind of rad, actually.
That would be. Or I could actually do my very first burnout in my Jeep wearing my stuff. I have a few friends from Legion Speed Sports who really want me to do some burnouts in my Jeep, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah. The thing about burnouts is everybody likes them until something goes wrong, and then like people are like, oh, that's cool, she did a burnout, but then like I feel like it's a burnout is one of those things where if you do it right, it's like, okay, it's not that big of a deal because you did it right. But if, like, you fail and you throw a drive shaft out or something wonky happens or the Jeep doesn't actually light up the tires because they're so big, then it's like, you get made fun of and memed and, like, it comes back to haunt you. I feel like you don't really win with a burnout, but you can definitely fail with a burnout.
Okay, truly, that is noted. It's like, I'll give you that. Maybe I'll record it first and see what happens. But I think maybe just me popping out of the Jeep because it's lifted now. It's so funny because you know how little my mom is. She's like 4'11", and now I've lifted it to a 3.5-inch lift on 37. So she's just like, I can't get in here, but she's a ninja. So she just grabs onto the handle, puts both feet in, and like pulls herself up. It's quite awesome.
I was gonna say, you haven't got to the point where you got to carry the plastic step stool in the back of the Jeep, and then when she's gonna ride in there, you pull it out.
Yeah, no, I haven't got there. And everybody keeps asking me if I'm just going to put some side steps or anything on there. I'm like, no, I really enjoy, like, hopping in and hopping out of the Jeep. Like, I couldn't see that. And everybody's like, just put because Rock Slide Engineering, they have ones that are rock sliders. And then, they open up and then step down into some things for some steps. But I don't really want to do that. I just probably put some rock sliders up on the side of them, change out these stock rock guards for King of the Hammers, but it's always fun to just pop in and pop out,
Yeah. No, I'm feeling it, but yeah, we are going to take a short commercial break, and we come back, we'll be right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Looking to have some fun on 4 wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Well, welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. That is all she wrote for this week. Yeah, I know 2 hours is in the books. I guess if you're listening online, it's a little bit shorter. To those of you complaining that we run too many commercial spots in the show, I got to tell you, we actually run less online, and you guys are still complaining. Don't know what's going on, but thank you to our amazing partners that keep us in business and keep Action Motorsports on air, I guess. Polaris Razor, General Tire, 4-wheel parts, MyMedic. Use that coupon code Jim Beaver to get you 15% off of MyMedic. Vision Wheel, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish. Use the coupon code DownDirtyDF. That will get you 15% off at Dirtfish. Our good friends at Super ATV, the best damn UTV products on the planet. Impact Race Products. Tell you what, you can crash at 300 miles an hour in a top fuel car, and you know what? They will take care of you, right? You walk away. So, thank you to all our amazing partners, iRacing, RacingJunk.com. We couldn't do it without you guys. Seriously, thank you. Thanks to all you listeners for tuning in. Check us out on iTunes. Hit that subscribe button. Rate, review. Helps us out. Check out all the written content at downanddirtyshow.com. And, I will be heading out to SEMA, so make sure and follow my shenanigans there in about a week. If you want my full schedule, it's at JimBeaver15. And be safe. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.